Hello, hello, hello. Today is October 27, 2020, and we are on to solving more interesting problems in our favorite C programming language. Today we are going to attempt to do this 415, which is add strings. And he's saying given two non-negative integers num1 and num2 represented as strings, return the sum of num1 and num2. Length of both num1 and num2 is less than 5100. Both num1 and num2 contain only digits. Both num1 and num2 does not contain any leading zeros. You must not use any built-in to convert the inputs to integer directly. So we are not allowed to convert the integers to these strings to integer variable and then just add them. That's unacceptable. So let's try to do this problem. It shouldn't be too hard apart from C's pointer manipulation. So one thing, as we can see, we have to return a char star. So how do we do that? So that means we would need at least a pointer, and we will be allocating memory and putting stuff here. Now next thing we need to do is we need to have indexes. Like for example, you might say, okay, strlen num1 minus 1. So because what we're going to do is we would assign these indexes I and j to the end of their respective strings. So I would be pointing to the end of string num1, and j would be pointing to the last character of string num2. Now, what is the next thing that we need to do? We would need a variable len to keep track of where in S we would be, like to index into S. And so we would need a len for that. And then how about when you're going to add two integers or two numbers, let's say they're both less than 10, like imagine you're adding 8 and 7. So the addition will be 15, and then you mod 15 by 10, you get 5, but then you will have a carry. So you probably also have to have a carry. Now all we need to do is while I greater than equal to 0 and or actually I think or is a sensible approach here, because you could I mean one of the strings one of the numbers which are being represented as strings here could actually run out of itself, but the other might still be going. So you probably have to do or, not and. So now let's see. So first of all, we know that character. So for example, let's just say int a equal to, what would that this be? Now as you can see, that would be num1 num1 if you take, where are we in num1? I, right, at index I plus, so that is your, and int b would be num2 j, right? And you would expect these like for example, you may have a variable here known as int sum equal to a plus b and plus carry. That should be our general approach at this point, I would say. Now let me ask you the problem. Is that something do you think this is going to work? Because you said that int a equal to num1 I, but num1 I is actually a character, ASCII character for that number, not the number itself. So how do we go from ASCII character of number to number itself? We subtract it by 0. And so if that being the case, we have to see if this is that thing that we're going to have here, like for example now here this. So now we have actually the numbers instead of ASCII character for number. So that should pretty much do this. Now s equal to, where is char s? Okay, so this is s. Now we know that we have a character which is sum mod 10. Now sum mod 10 will give us, for example, 5, but we have to put 5's for example, let's say we are working on this, we get a as 1 and b as 5, carry is 0. So, a as 1 and b as 5, as a 7 and b as 8, and carry is 0 to start with. So 8 plus 7 is 15, sum mod 10 5, so we got 5. But then we actually need to do the, again, go back from integer to the ASCII character representation of that, and that would be sum mod 10 plus your this character. Now this we need to stick into s, but we haven't even allocated anything as, so we have to do s equal to realloc s, and then we can do a plus plus len, right? So here we have a plus plus len. So now with that we should be able to do a s len minus 1, which is the index, equal to, and this thing that we just calculated. So let's go to, okay, so s len minus 1 is, now we have got our first character, I would say. And now at this point we need to make sure that the carry is updated, which is nothing but some integer division. This is important actually to remember why that is the case, because integer division, as you know, discards the decimal point. So we get the remaining character in our sum number, you could say, instead of character. Okay, so we have there, we have it. So now carry equal to sum by 10. Okay, when we come out of it, then we need to see if carry is there. Carry is not 0, but actually it is having some value, and if so, what do we need to do? We need to do an realloc again, and we need to stick this carry of 1, right? So basically at this point our addition is complete. But what is the catch? The catch is that you would be basically going backward. So if you have something like, imagine you had these numbers like 1 3 8 5 and 238, let's say, or 248. When you start adding them, you are starting at the end or the last digit in each of them. So if you say 8 plus 5, you might say 3. So you would be actually doing more like this, because you're in your string s, you must say 3, and then 1 is a carry, and then you say 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 1 carry 8, and then you'll have 3, so it will be more like this. Now, but we actually, okay, so in this case, it's just a complete coincidence. Let's do it like this, or maybe like this. So you can see that 5 plus 8, 13, 3, and 1 is the carry, which comes here, and then we have 9 plus 2, 11, 1. Again, you have a carry, and then you have that over here. So you see, actually the result should have been more like 1183, right? Because you know 8 plus 5, 13, 1 is carry, 4 plus 8 and 9. Okay, so that it should have been this. So now how do we go from there? So we will probably have to do a reverse. So we can write a very boilerplate C style reverse function, and that should take care of that. So that is void reverse char as int len. Now we start by having an index pointing to the beginning of the string, so that is s0. We have another index j pointing to the sorry, I think we are wrong here. We should be just 0 because this is the index, not the character. And j has to be len minus 1. So we have now two indices pointing respectively at the front and the back of the string. All we need to do is while actually we can use a for loop. I less than j, I plus plus, j minus minus. Okay, so here we are. All we need to do is just basically pretty much swap in the very classic way. So char temp equal to ai, overwrite ai with aj, and override aj with temp, which is the value of ai. So that is pretty much you need to do temp, character temp. So there you go. So that's your reverse function. Now, do you think we are out of woods at this point? No, we are not, because as you can see in C, no pun intended, the strings are null terminated, and we haven't null terminated this. So how do we do that? We do one more of this realloc s plus plus len, and then we just say that the index that we got, we just stick in a null character there, and then we are basically good to go. All we need to do is return x. Let's see if that works. So say run code. Alright, so where's the problem? Problem is he's saying error A undeclared. I thought that shouldn't have an issue. Line 11, let's see where is line 11. Oh, I see. So that's your S actually, not A. Let's run it now. Time limit exceeded. So what's the problem here? And I can see the problem right away. The problem is this while loop was based on the condition that one of them has to be true. I has to be greater than equal to 0. So that means it's assuming that we will be decrementing I inside the loop, so that eventually we can run out of these conditionals. So, but how do but we never did. You see, I and j we are not updating. So this is what we need to do. Let's run it again. There you go. There you go. So that's an awesome news this morning. And now let us try to submit it and see if that works. And he's saying that we have a problem. Problem he's saying is heap buffer overflow and address this as PC. Okay, 9 and 999. So what is the problem? We gave input of 9 and we have not been able to get the right output. Why would that be a problem? What line number did we get this speed buffer overflow? Do you think we have screwed up something somewhere? So if carry s equal to real log s, I do not see any problem. So, oh, I see. Um, we cannot index into these things unconditionally, right? We have to see if I is basically, I think we have to have a conditional here. If I is greater than equal to 0, and if that is the case, then it is this, else it should be just 0. How about that? And same thing here. Because you see, without that, now imagine you run out of one string and the other string is still going. So, but we would just be decrementing irrespective whether it needs to be decremented or not. So we cannot do a j minus minus for that or a I minus minus for that. So j, again in this case, we can use this C's ternary operator here. Again 0. So what we are saying is that look, if your I is greater than equal to 0, now let me ask you one question. If it is equal to 0, it will be true, and then we will try to basically decrement. We can't do that. That is unacceptable for us because you see, I think once so if I only do this, for example, greater but not do equal to, then what is the problem? Then I guess we will leave out one string. So I think this should take care of it. Let's do that again. Okay. There you go. So basically that was the problem. So the problem was that we could run out of we were not checking in before indexing our character whether we have already in one of these strings. So the reason why we would have come inside is because one of them would still be true, but the other one would have probably finished, like in the case of 9 and 99. But we would have gone ahead and still decremented, and then we would have basically run out of the bounds of the string that was smaller. So that's why we were having the problem. But now, as you can see, it's working great, and I will leave you at this point without much further ado. I would see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.